Hereby Contrast again, and today guys, I'm here to do a theory video, and this theory video is to Hisuian Voltorb. What is and how did Hisuian Voltorb came into existence? Why? What is it? First up, for anybody who's not aware, Hisuian Voltorb officially got revealed. It's officially got revealed, it's finally revealed, and people, of course, have now started making theories of what is it? How does it exist in this world? And why is it still based on a Pokeball? And it's now, debunking a lot of theories, like the Haunter / Rotom possessing a Pokeball. It's debunked now. It's now debunked because of Hisuian Voltorb. And this is when now people are now starting to figure out other theories. Is it still man-made, or is it not man-made? Is it a natural creature? Which, from based on most of the evidence we currently saw, it seems to be natural. Well, at least to be a living creature. It doesn't seem to be man-made entirely. This is when my theory comes in, guys. Well, I think Voltorb is actually a Pokemon that came to existence because of infinity energy. Yeah. I believe Voltorb is a Pokemon that came into existence because of infinity energy. And let me explain why. First up, in the Pokedex, it says Voltorb was first discovered in a PokeBall Factory. That's the first evidence to give you a clue of why. I'm also mentioning that you can still debate if Voltorb is man-made or not, because first up, infinity energy, because Pokeballs have been theorized to use infinity energy for a good long time. Since infinity became a thing, people have been sort of questioning if infinity energy is used in Pokeballs. And that's been a theory that's been out for quite a while now. This could prove even more, because possibility, humans in this world, at the very least, have learned to harness infinity energy and at least put it and form it into objects, precisely Pokeballs. And I'm believing that they put infinity energy into Pokeballs, including these old-fashioned Pokeballs, because like the current Pokeballs, these old Pokeballs still turn Pokemon into a form of energy, and make them small enough to able to fit into a Pokeball. And I believe it's because of infinity energy. And we have proven that infinity energy is a natural occurring energy source that happens in the Pokemon world. That's the part where I'm going to mention that still, can it classify as man-made? Because infinity energy is a natural source. Now, here comes the rest of the theory. How did it first get discovered in a PokeBall Factory? Quite simply, as I mentioned, humans have somehow harnessed, in the Pokemon world, somehow harnessed how to use infinity energy. And, of course, they've been using it in their Pokeballs. And, of course, to mass produce them, you need a factory. You need a factory to mass produce Pokeballs. So what I'm guessing, and my theory is in a factory, and more realistic, a bit more of a smaller factory, enough that it can contract stuff still in it. Gas, heat, energy, infinity energy. Well, I'm guessing somehow some stray infinity energy made contact with what's been used in Pokeballs for a good long time. It has been confirmed and officially confirmed to be used in Pokeballs for a long time. Infinity energy. Got into these apricorns. Apricorns are made for Pokeballs. They're used to make Pokeballs. They're used to make Pokeballs. And I believe the stray infinity energy, either by accident, someone accidentally unleashed or released some infinity energy and made contact with these apricorns, or someone deliberately done it for what reason? No idea, scientific reasons, or maybe they just want to muck things up. But possibly someone deliberately done it, or it naturally occurred because it built up in a small location. And when something builds up in a small location, energy for example, it'll make sense that things will make contact with it. And unused apricorns, mind you, means these are not used to make, they haven't been used to make Pokeballs yet. Well, plan to make used in Pokeballs, they haven't done so. And this is when the Infinity comes in. Because this Infinity Energy is meant to be used to make Pokeballs, and of course, it's also a natural thing, it also remembers what a Pokeball is supposed to look like. It's a good chance when this Infinity Energy made contact with the item that's not been made at all yet to be used for Pokeballs yet, aka the apricorns, when it made contact with the apricorns, it gave sentience to this apricorn. It made these apricorns sentient, and it, of course, brought these apricorns to life. And that's why I believe made humans first discover Hisuian Voltorb and Voltorb species in general. And it's because Infinity Energy made contact with these apricorns and gave life to them. And more likely, what Infinity Energy remembers, because it's a natural source, it's a very strange and still not much known energy source. It has these weird powers, and I'm gonna say it has photogaric memory. It has some form of memory foam. It remembers a form. And I'm guessing the reason why it chose a Pokeball form, because the Infinity Energy remembers. It remembers what a Pokeball looks like. And that's why I'm guessing why this Infinity Energy exists. Why Voltorb takes the form of a Pokeball, because the Infinity Energy remembers it and goes into the apricorn, and because apricorns are used in Pokeballs, it takes on the form of a Pokeball, because, again, apricorns use, and Infinity Energy more likely has a form of memory sensing ability that able to make them transform into looking more like a Pokeball than just a regular apricorn. But because it's still an apricorn, it has the seeds, which I'm guessing the seeds have mutated in some form to become organs and, what makes a thing a living creature. Or at least for plant Pokemon, which this Voltorb is, a grass and electric type, means it's technically a plant with electricity. And mind you, there are realistic plants and living creatures that can produce electricity naturally. And it's more likely the seeds in here, which, mind you, plants themselves can conduct and be used for electrical purposes. Citrus fruits, for example, like lemons. Lemons can be used for electricity, people. And that's what I'm guessing. These seeds and the juices, and maybe what's inside these apricorns, are electrically charged, and of course, still can be, and because the energy can technically be classified as from electricity, more likely made the existence of this living creature known as Voltorb. Now, I mostly explained the idea that it was in a PokeBall Factory that this occurs, but again, I mentioned Infinity Energy is a natural occurring thing. That means it exists outside even human use. It can exist anywhere in the Pokemon world. So, it can technically happen. A stray apricorn made contact somehow with the natural occurring Infinity Energy, and it formed into a living creature. Now, can it be Voltorb? That is debatable, because I could definitely say it's more likely occurring, but at least the Pokeball side of things for Voltorb is because of man interference. Because I feel like there is no way a Voltorb with its Fury can turn it to form a Pokeball with an Infinity Energy to actually remember. Unless Infinity Energy overall, once it recognizes something that exists in the world, it will remember it and it will make any connection to a Pokeball, turn into a Pokeball living creature. It's possibility it could do that, but that is another theory in itself. But in the end, it's still hard to know if Infinity Energy will remember. So it's hard to know if natural occurring Apricorn turning Pokemon will turn into Pokeball looking Voltorbs. But there's a possibility that Voltorbs can exist naturally in the world, because these stray Apricorns somehow made contact with Infinity Energy and it gave them life. And it can either turn them into Pokeball-like form or not. That's something that I should declare right there as soon as possible, because we still don't know how fully Infinity Energy would work. But it does show that it's actually possible for natural occurring Voltorbs. It's more likely to happen through man interference, because, again, it's very situational for an Apricorn to even make contact with Infinity Energy in the first place. First of the Apricorns must, at the very least, be naturally occurring, grow somewhere close to strong Infinity Energy. Somewhere it's powerful. Somewhere you will likely find naturally occurring Infinity Energy. And that's the only time I would see an Apricorn possibly even getting close to attempting to get close to naturally make contact with Infinity Energy. Another thing is, natural energy somehow, the Infinity Energy exploded somehow, and some Apricorns made contact with that, but that's another natural thing that could happen. But even that is still, but that's really, and then you know, that's the only way I can see it naturally occurring in the wild, is Infinity Energy just, that's its natural thing. It naturally made contact somehow with an Apricorn, and it gave it life, and it became Voltorb. And that's how I believe Voltorb could have come into existence, because Infinity Energy, naturally, and mostly man interference, because it's a lot more easier for man to actually do it, because it's physically done. It's physically done. No natural thing was occurring, it physical turned into. But that's my theory. And that's why it's still quite debatable, because it can actually be possible in the Pokemon world for it being naturally occurring. It can naturally occur in the Pokemon world, because Infinity Energy is a natural source. But the likelihood of it actually happening is extremely low, and is situational. That means for it to be naturally occurring in the wild in the first place, it needs to be in a very strong Infinity Energy location for even it to be commonly occur if it did. But it's more likely to occur if human interference comes in. And that's my theory. Voltorb is in existence, and why it exists is because of Infinity Energy making contact with an Apricorn. And through some form of memory, through some form of memory process, the Infinity Energy remembers the Voltorb. These Apricorns are used to make Pokeballs, so it more likely turned them into a Pokeball-like form because of its self-memory. And that's my theory. Voltorbs are living creatures that came into existence because of Infinity Energy making contact. And because of its natural occurrence, it's more likely very rare for it to occur. The man-made versions of them, by accidental, more likely, occurrence, they found them in a Pokeball Factory. They found them in a Pokeball Factory because Apricorns to be found there, quite in a big supply amount, and it's in human control, and humans seem to have control, or some form of control of Infinity Energy, and it somehow stray Infinity Energy made contact with these Apricorns. And that's how Voltorb, and that's how they discovered Voltorb. That is how how humans discovered Voltorb. Because of stray, closed-in location, Pokeball Factory, Apricorns made contact with Infinity Energy, and they turned to Voltorbs, and humans noticed this. Humans noticed this, and they now discovered a new species of Pokemon. And that's my theory. And why Voltorb exists. And hopefully this is not. It's 15 minutes. It's coming up. It just went past 15 minutes. So yeah. But anyway, that's my theory of how if I confuse you, I can write it down. I will write it down in the comments if need be. If people want a bit more better description, not just through my speaking, but actually me writing it down, because I'm a bit more easier writing it down than just speaking it. But that's my theory of how Voltorb came into existence. So yeah, I hope you guys like it. And again, it's meant to be a short video, but it seems to be an average video I made here. Oops, because I'm not gonna edit it. It was just something I came up with. I feel like and it just makes a lot of sense because Infinity Energy exists in the Pokemon world. Like, it naturally exists. And I can see now how it looks like Voltorb is more naturally occurring than just man-made. What I can think of is that, though it's a natural occurring Pokemon, it has more influence to exist in the Pokemon world because of man interference. Even though it can naturally happen. It's just something that is uncommonly naturally can occur, but it's more effective and more likely to occur if humans interfere with Infinity Energy. And that's how I believe Voltorb came into existence, because of Infinity Energy making contact with apricorns. And they first got discovered because high doses of it, like stray Infinity Energy in a PokeBall Factory made contact with unused apricorns. And more likely the reason why Voltorb, current Voltorb, more likely evolved over time, that the current Voltorb is more likely human interference. The current Voltorbs we have now are more likely human interference. And because Voltorbs will so used to Pokeballs, and obviously they realized Pokeballs changed, they had to change as well. They more likely, and because of humans changing Pokeballs how they are, so they more likely change the depth because they don't want to stand out. It's more likely in their species to feel like they need to stay like Pokeballs because that's how they started. So that's maybe how that's what their intention was meant to be. So the possibility Infinity Energy passed on onto other Pokeballs, or like how Pokeballs came into existence, or they deliberately evolved in their death and change, like the actual seed-like things, they adapt itself, and over time change the material itself actually can change over time as well, and that's possibly how apricorns, like Voltorbs, turned into the current Voltorb. Because either they somehow passed on the Infinity and their souls, they passed on their existence into current Pokeballs and transformed them, and now they're somewhat living creatures, or just the actual bodies they're currently in, evolved over time to become the material that current Pokeballs are mostly made of. It's a possibility that could be, and obviously they changed as well. But that's another theory of how they evolved. How they evolved the current Voltorb is still very debatable, but for at least Hisuian to maybe old-fashioned Voltorbs that could still exist in the Pokemon world, Infinity Energy made contact with apricorns, and that's what turned them into current Voltorbs, or Hisuian Voltorbs. And that's what I'm guessing Voltorb exists, how Voltorb exists, and that's my Pokemon theory. Anyway guys, hope you guys like my theory, and maybe you might agree with me that it makes logical sense because Infinity Energy exists in the Pokemon world. But anyway, hope you guys like it. And again, sorry if this doesn't seem like professional because it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be just coming out and just we're like, I must spread it. I must spread my theory. But hey, it's there. Anyway, hope you guys like it. Contract Fan State. If you guys want to send me out, if you do, my description, my address is down in the description. You can send me through that. And also, guys, if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Animino, and Twitter, because I recently got a Twitter lately. For Instagram, it's for Facebook and Animino, it's just search Connor Travis, the same name as my channel. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Connor Travis 1998, and on Twitter, it's at Connor Travis 2. So anyway, guys. Hope you guys like this theory. Hope you guys like it. Comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.